For him.
Lights came, prime time action. Run it up. Plays John Madden. It's so many, give it Sunday magic. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown. It's so many, give it Sunday magic. Round of applause and you go, that's it. Damn, that's a bomb with a flick on my wrist. Team that I rep came in as a rookie, now I'm balling like a vet. If you talking crazy, better say it with your chest. Hit him with the right, then I hit him with the left. Then the juke move, Heisman stiff arm, lights out, you snooze. Lights came, prime shit. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the play. Give it Sunday magic. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many, give it Sunday magic.
This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loves so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay, and we're underway in the John Madden Legacy Game. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL, and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
First and 10, it's Favre. Jerry Rice, open right side. Second and 8. Sanders here as they run out of the gun. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. From the gun, it's Favre. Well, the pressure home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. That's Cameron Hayward who got in there to take him down. So on fourth down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep, two-time Pro Bowler Dante Hall. That's taken inside his own 40. They'll get 9 yards on the return there following a punt of 42. And the AFC will take over first and 10. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
A first carry for the Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. His high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. To throw is Brady. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. And now they need the 27-yard line for a first. Brady. And a throw.
This defense has certainly played well so far in this game, and the coverage has been tight on just about every throw. Forced a few here so far in this game, and now it brings up 4th down.
The career leader in field goals made knocks that one through. And the AFC on the board first. It's 3-0. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
He would pick Kenny Stabler, but I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game, and if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players, I say it's a game, you say it's a business, and every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
The NFC with the football here to begin the second quarter. It's a 2nd down run with Sanders. And not much room to speak of. They'll get about 3 up to the 41. But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued his first training camp. Actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film.
No, bottled up, fumble. It's out, it's loose. And that's picked up by the AFC. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Here's Brady to throw. And he cannot get rid of it. The NFC getting in there for the sack. That's the Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor doing what he does best. To try again after the sack. Brady. He finds his man complete. That's Gonzalez. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line. A good pickup there. 18 yards as they get closer for 3rd down. 2 minutes remain here in the first half of the John Madden Legacy game. We'll be back. A couple extra tight ends in the formation here as they line up. Now a toss play. Allen. And he is going to lose yardage here. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result. Negative yardage. Vinatieri's kick is good, and they're able to double their lead just before half. It's 6-0. So the fumble recovery had them set up in ideal field position, but they can muster only 3 points out of it.
Yeah, when you're able to force turnovers, especially when it results in field position like they had, you really want to make it hurt. Here, they take the field goal. That's definitely not what they were hoping for.
And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. And looking at this situation, Charles, you got more than a minute. You've got all 3 timeouts. Probably no need to play this safe.
So what you're saying is that we're doing a little bit of a mind meld here, aren't we? Because I'm thinking along the same lines as you. This amount of time, don't be compelled to play it too safe. This is a chance to get points on the board. Press it a little bit.
Especially since a touchdown here gets you the lead. Here's Favre to throw. Being chased out left. Got a man. It's Randy Moss, complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. He's got his first catch here before halftime, and it goes for a first down. Favre. Throw right side, going to be complete to Moss. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down. Favre on second down. This will be caught by Randy Moss. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. It's a pickup of 17 and a first down. Well, coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley. The AFC going to get the football first here as we are back underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. No run back here for Hall, and this will come out to the 25. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. Their defense has pitched the shutout. Now they probably need to deliver a little breathing room, maybe make it a 2-score game as they've got it 1st and 10. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Throwing now is Brady. And he's going to backfield. Jack Youngblood. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. To throw. He's got his tailback. That's Marcus Allen. And he's not going to sniff the first down here. He stopped at the 25. Here's Ray Guy now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. On the return, Hester. A pretty good punt there, but also a nice return of 12 yards. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. On 1st down, Favre. Got a man, it's Randy Moss. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. They'll run with Sanders up the middle. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. So now, Charles, to pick up the John Madden at 42, he just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers. And he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
Now Favre. That'll be caught by Rice. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down. Three quarters complete now in the John Madden legacy game from Oakland. It's the AFC on top, and we're back to the Coliseum after this. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, second down. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went out and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks.